So in this video, I want to teach you how to get your Google My Business listing back if you're facing a suspension. There are lots of little reasons why Google can suspend you, and then they ask you to read the Google guidelines to get your listing back. But let's be honest, it's very complicated to read all the guidelines and to figure out why it is that they suspended you. They're basically having you guess and then tell them the answer. So in this video, I'm going to go over the most common reasons why you could get suspended and how to fix those before appealing, because I want to make sure that you get your listing back as soon as possible. So if you don't know me, my name is Mario Flores and I'm the owner of RankRight.net, where we've helped thousands of local service-based businesses across the country achieve success through Google Ads, SEO, and website creation. So let's go over the most common reasons why your listing could be suspended and see if any of those apply to you. So in the last 10 years, the most common reason that I've seen why these listings get suspended is because they're using the wrong type of address, okay? Whether you're using a virtual address, that's obviously incorrect, right? You don't want to be using a virtual address. At this point, Google has already flagged all the virtual addresses like Regis, so it's just asking to get suspended. You're just basically playing with fire at that point. The other thing you could be doing wrong with your address is you're using your home address, and instead of hiding the address and setting it up as a service area business, right? Let's say you're a junk removal business or a carpet cleaner and you're going to people's homes, right, to offer the service, and you're running the business out of your home, you cannot display your address unless it is commercial space, right? Unless you have a commercial building where people can come and pay their bill, and you're utilizing that space in that sense, then you can't display your address on Google My Business. What you need to do then at that point is go and log into Google My Business and change the address over to a service area business. Basically, you click the little check mark, it hides the address, and then it asks you to input all the cities and areas that you service, right? And so what that'll do is once you've done that and you fix that part on Google, if that's what you did wrong, then you go through the appealing process and say that you fixed that. Okay, let's say that doesn't apply to you. You didn't mess up with the address. The next most common thing that people get wrong is keyword stuffing in the name of the business. I'll give you some examples. Let's say you own a business and it's called Jerry's Plumbing Services, right? And that is what's registered with the state that you live in, and that is how you got your business license, with Jerry's Plumbing. Now here's an example of where you could go wrong with this. Let's say that you decided to register your business on Google as Jerry's Plumbing of San Antonio, Texas, for example. So that second part of San Antonio, Texas isn't really part of your business, and that's where Google starts to get suspicious, when you start to keyword stuff to rank better. Anytime you add extra things to the name of the business that include the service or the city specifically, they start to get suspicious. And if they do a manual review of your listing, they could suspend you for this reason. One way to fix this, right? Let's say you do want to keep that name because it helps you rank. Well, at that point, you'd want to go to your city and get a DBA. That way, it actually matches the name on Google and you're legally allowed to use that name. And they only cost about $100 and it's typically like a one-day wait. So I would suggest doing that if you want to keep that business name. If not, what you're going to do is you're going to change it back to the original name that you registered the business with and submit paperwork showing that you fixed it and that it matches your business records. Another common thing that people get wrong is their hours. A lot of people will try and set it up for a 24-hour business, even though they're not a 24-hour business. And Google typically knows what businesses operate 24 hours. You're typically not running a 24-hour pet grooming business, right? So please change your business hours so they're realistic. A lot of times people set that up incorrect. I know there are businesses that do run 24 hours. If you're in one of those categories, that is totally fine. And just make sure that you're actually using your correct business hours. Another thing that could trigger suspension is moving from one location to another. This is very common. When you move locations and you do everything the right way and you update it with Google, it'll trigger a suspension, mainly because they want to see if the move was done accurately. They want to see paperwork that you actually moved and that you have updated the new business address with your city or state. Another thing with moves is if you're moving out of state, just completely shut down the existing listing and create a new listing in the new state you're going to if it's a further move, right? It just makes more sense to create a completely new listing if you're moving far away from your existing service area. Another thing that triggers a lot of suspensions is making too many changes to your Google My Business listing. What I mean by this is constantly changing the phone number, the name of your business, and the business category. These aren't things that you typically change on a daily basis, but some people do, and it becomes suspicious to Google. Try and limit the changes to Google My Business as much as you possibly can, and if you do have more than one change to make, spread them out within a couple of hours of each other so it doesn't trigger a suspension. Here's another one that a lot of you get suspended for, and is utilizing the products feature on Google. A lot of times what people do is they utilize the products feature to create product listings for services. And there's a big difference between products and services. I'm gonna give you the example of a dumpster rental business, right? So if a dumpster rental business offers different sizes of dumpsters, what a lot of guys do in that industry is they'll go to the products listing page and they'll add each size as a different product. It's not really a product that a customer can buy, it is a service that they're buying. And Google sees that as a violation of their guidelines. So make sure that you're not listing services as products. They have to be physical products that somebody can buy in order to be considered products. So make sure you're utilizing this feature correctly. Now the last one is something that a lot of people get suspended for, and it is creating multiple listings. Sometimes this happens by accident because you open up a listing, you're not sure if it goes live, so you accidentally create a new one. Or a family member is helping you and they create one and then you try and create one. It can get confusing, I get it. But if you're a person who's trying to create multiple listings on purpose, there are certain things that you should follow, okay? You can never utilize the same address more than once, okay? You can never utilize the same phone number more than once. Each location needs different phone numbers. And if they are service area businesses, you cannot have one service area business within a 2-hour driving distance of another service area business with the same business name, okay? They need to be separated by at least 2 hours unless they have commercial business addresses. At that point, you're able to create multiple listings if they have commercial space, just like you would see a Starbucks or a McDonald's show up on the map. They show up all over the place because they're in every corner, right? So make sure you follow those guidelines. I've made an entire tutorial on how to create multiple listings on Google My Business without getting suspended. If that's something that applies to you and that's something that you want to learn how to do, please check the video up here. If not, guys, this is basically the main list of why people get suspended and what not to do. Make sure you go through this entire list, fix any of these errors that could be triggering a suspension in your business, and then submit the appeal. If you need further assistance or help with any of this, you can call me at 971-381-7416 or visit rankwright.net. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.